Hey everyone, John Newman here. Thank you for downloading this episode of Card Mensches. Myself and Danny Black of Hobby News Daily would like to remind you this is a live show every other Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It can be found on most of our social medias. Danny's at sportsbalt and Hobby News Daily. I am Sports Card Nation Podcast. And it can be found on our YouTube channels. At Hobby News Daily, Sports Card Nation Podcast, at Sportsbalt, and at Card Mensches. So with that being said, we hope to see you very soon on a Friday night in our very active chat room. Now let's start the show.
Experience, quality, consistency, and the quickest turnaround times in the grading industry? We are proud to partner with SGC Grading. Check them out at www.gosgc.com. Experience, quality, consistency, and the quickest turnaround times in the grading industry? We are proud to partner with SGC Grading. Check them out at www.gosgc.com.
Hi, I'm Danny Black.
And I'm John Newman.
Welcome to Card Mensches.
What's going on? We're not sure if John's with us or not. He hasn't moved in 25 minutes.
That's as long as I've been quiet, ever.
It is actually. Guinness just called. It's a new record. Ruben, now that you're here, we can start. Cue that music. Yes, definitely. Shalom, boys. Happy, good Sabbath to you, Stephen. Let's get ready to rumble. Absolutely. And Barry, thank you for the early hello. Always a great way to start the night. John's got a drink in one hand.
I can't tell you what's in the other, but a drink in one hand.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Stadium Insurance. In this hobby, this has not changed. Stadium Insurance got a fantastic app, and if you have a collection and it's not protected, don't believe it's protected on the homeowners. Contact stadiuminsurance.com. Now, one of our other sponsors is CIA Auctions, Collector Investor Auctions, and they do a good job. And I wanted to share for people who have never seen this auction house before what their page looks like. So this is their website. You can see Collector Investor Auctions, and they're actually in the middle of an auction right now. So you can see some of the cards that are up for bid. The 68 Clemente and a 9 is gorgeous, just great stuff. If you know Jeremy Dodson or Chris Sewell, they're the brain work behind this. So shout out to them and appreciate their support. All right, Danny, you look like you lost some weight. Probably this week, Ruben. We're going to get into that in a second. Hello, Larry. Hello, Hodges.
You want to do it like Larry King would? Hello, Larry.
Okay. Syracuse, go. What number episode are we on?
45.
45. What's the Mensch discount code? They'll charge you more if you mention us, Mookie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, there were some sleeper cards that went in the last auction.
I know. I got to get on. All joking aside, I gotta get on there. And Warren's here now. The party has started.
Yep.
I have to get on there and see what I can see what's on there. And like you said, Clemente and a 9. That's obviously a premium card. You don't need to hear it from me.
Yep.
So
no, they got good stuff. And they're good guys. So glad to have them part of it.
And I gotta think a Clemente rookie 9 probably brings a little bit less on their site than a Heritage or Leland's or somewhere like that has a huge mailing list and all that. And I don't mean any disrespect. I'm just like get in now and get some deals and that sort.
Before the word gets out too much.
Yeah, get in. Like now's the best time. So.
Yep. Ruben Warren is in the house. It's so good to see friends. So, John, should I share what my week has been like? Why I look so skinny and tired? And
yeah, you might as well. So, you know what I mean? It's we talk about community, right? We kind of lift each other up. So,
well, that's exactly why I wanted to talk about community and friends in the hobby tonight. and how much we count on community and friends. In the last 2 weeks, since the National, my mother had heart surgery, I had COVID, and my dad had a stroke. So that's been pretty much my last 2-3 weeks.
And you had the room with me in Cleveland.
And I had the room with John in Cleveland. Well, that was
that started the whole thing. That started the whole.
That was community service mandated. But it's been a long couple of weeks. But I wanted to talk about times in the hobby when we've helped friends have helped us, cards that we've helped each other buy, cards we've looked for each other, anything. So. Mike Petty, the community is all at FanFest. Sorry, I have to go shoot a hockey puck with Tom and Spike Slabs with WWE star Kronk.
Did I see that right? Did he break that case too? I'm not talking about the piece of slab, but the showcase itself.
I'll admit I did not see that today. I'll be up there tomorrow.
Real quick, I was too busy watching the Australian breakdancer to watch the Gronk thing multiple times. But I think he broke the dealer's showcase. I could be wrong, but dude, you're buying. I don't care what your name is. You're buying me a new showcase.
Which you know what I'm going to say to that.
Yeah, well,
I got to find out if the Gronk falls in there. So yes, everyone's going to be okay. This is not a pity party. We're here to have fun. We're here to talk cards. But we want to share stuff where friends have touched you in the hobby, or somebody found a card they knew you would like and gave you a call, or you found a card and sent it to somebody because you just knew they would like it. And that's really what the hobby's about. And there's so many great stories out there. John and I, we've shared some of ours. And Mike says, here you go. The PSA 10 1 of 1 broke out and was damaged. They reslabbed it on site. Now it's a 9 1 of 1 spiked by Gronk.
So it only went down 1 grade after he slammed it?
It sounds like Mike's on top of it. So
you know what? One thing I definitely like about Mike. Sometimes like that, you're not sure is he kidding or is that the actual truth?
Well, that's why I said I'm not sure. It was slight damage. There we go. That seems like. So I wanted to start out with one of my favorite stories ever, just because I knew nothing about this card, and evidently you had been looking for this card at it's a 33 Sport King.
I got it with me. I won't show it just yet.
Don't give it away yet. And I was at Strongsville. This is, I think, 2 years ago. And you called me up and you said, just ask the dealers if they have whatever the name of the character on the card is.
Let me just give a little tease. So you think 1933 Sport Kings, you're thinking of all the big guns. You know what I mean? This would not qualify under the big guns. It just was a card I wanted to add to my personal. All right, that's all I wanted.
And this is exactly what we're talking about. Warren says, Hodges just found me a bunch of 50s and 60s Indians cards for my team set. Love hearing it. Thanks for you, Ruben. So anyway, so you call me up and you say, look for this card. I said, I've never heard of that. I can't pronounce that.
I haven't, and one of the reasons is I've never seen one in person. The ones that are online always seem to be high grade and so high money, and I don't want to spend that kind of money on this card. And so that was the problem. You don't see them in person, and the ones that are online are all the premium grades with a premium price tag. And I knew you were going to a vintage show. I was in Strongsville. I have yet to go there. And I just said to you, literally, shot in the dark, man. It's going to be a weird ask, but this card. And honestly, I in my mind, I'm like, there's zero chance he's going to get this in Strongsville. But it's worth the flyer. It's worth, a shot in the dark. And I don't know if you called me or you texted me, but you're like, is this it?
Well, I think I asked the dealer if I could take a picture because it was a little bit of a strange request. You told me to ask for something specific.
Yeah. So you want me to show it now?
Go for it.
So it's obviously we talked about this already. It's a 1933 Sport Kings gum. It's the number 48 card in the set, and it's the Leonard Sapala. And for those that don't know who Leonard Sapala is.
Has anybody ever heard of Leonard Sapala in the chat? I would love to know if anybody.
Well, he's arguably one of the greatest dog sled racers. But if you're not into dog sled, well, what got me onto this card and the dog on the card? I wanted the dog. With no disrespect to Mr. Sapala, I wanted the card for the dog on the card, which is a dog named Togo, who's a legendary dog. So much so they taxidermied him upon his death, and Disney made a movie. It's the Togo movie with William Dafoe and so Len Cicada, the former Oriole, by the way. But here it is. Now you got this for me raw, so I've subsequently obviously had SGC grade it. See if I can get it without the glare.
And Warren says Leonard who? That's a great question.
Yeah, it's not other than the set.
Don't they call it a musher?
Yeah, I guess so. Other than the set it's in, you know what I mean? It's not, it's not. Although we can make the claim that he's the Babe Ruth of mushers, But there's Togo right there, and that movie hit me, and I knew about this dog, and I'm like, this is a Togo rookie, not expecting to get it, and you did, and not bad. It graded out as a 2.
Hey, and it fit the budget.
Yeah, this is on my desk. That's why it was at hand. And that's the stories, right, man? Like, that's a card I really like. I'm not going to...
Mookie with the comment of the day so far. I wonder if Togo ate Red Heart.
Well, I had a big heart. You haven't seen that movie, see Togo. Like, I know it's a Disney movie. It's not really a kid's movie, though. It's a Disney-made movie. And I'm not going to lie. I had watched that. Maybe this factored in. I watched that movie about 2 to 3 months after I lost my boxer named Mocha, and I was still feeling the loss of her presence in the house. And then I watched the movie Togo, and it just brought all sorts of emotion. And so then I said, man, I've gotten into non-sports. I'm like, does this dog have a card? Does this dog appear on any cards? I knew a lot of the churchmen from the 30s and whatnot made like all sorts of different things, planes. I'm like, their Togo card? That was really the only one I could find other than some postcards, like ephemera stuff. But so it's the Togo rookie with Leonard Sapala, which I believe it's his first card as well. So there you go. And so that card represents for me a lot of things, right? I asked you for a tall order, and you came through, obviously the story of Togo and Sapala. And one of the things, I don't want to give the movie away, but he did some incredible things. He did some incredible things, this dog. And for years, they gave another dog that was in the same race that was on part of the leg way too much credit than over Togo. So it's came out, after the fact, like Togo did more of the miles and all that stuff. So see the movie. And Iditarod is correct. Yep. In Alaska. So, and so that card has just so many different angles to it, right? It's just crazy. And again, it's not even a baseball player, right? Or a football player. So
let me guess, Togo turns into a real boy. I love you, Mook. I'll
drink to that.
Exactly. So that's one example of me getting to help you totally out of the dark, totally randomly, by simply asking dealers if they have the 33 Sport Kings with a dog.
How many weird looks did you get, I guess?
Here we go. This is exactly. I haven't really helped anyone buy a card, but I've been a lone wolf for many years, but I may have found my wolf pack. Well, Ruben, I actually wanted to bring up that the Mike Moynihan pointing out the dealer that had the Koufax autograph. And yep, yeah. And there's an example of friends maybe both helping friends and peer pressuring friends.
Don't you think better would have been if Moynihan bought this for me rather than just tell me where to spend $280 before it's my last real purchase in Cleveland? But hey, listen, no, all joking aside, that's a great buy, and he could have bought them all himself. You know what I mean? Like, that's the story where like you share the deals.
Seriously, so Ruben, you benefited from that. In fact, a lot of people will probably recognize this card. This is going to JSA, and when this gets authenticated, it'll be Kirby Puckett, Diamond Kings, obviously, autographed.
I'm laughing at
I
Steven's
saw the
comment.
comment. Yeah,
That was terrible.
I'm gonna spit on that comment.
Yeah.
So,
And then they blew a 5-run lead. It's just apropos for the whole evening.
to blow it, yeah.
Yeah.
And then so
This is a kid's show. We promise.
So this is going to somebody who collects autographed Diamond Kings when this comes back slabbed. Thank you, Orlando. And Ruben says, I know I'm benefiting. I'm thankful. The only problem is, Ruben, I stand by this. Nobody paid for one for me. I was too slow on that.
You said I have a Koufax autograph already.
I do. Can you see in the picture? It's the blue one up there.
Yeah. No, yeah. I know, but I'm just saying it wasn't like you didn't have one. It's not the repeat of the Koufax rookie.
No, but I am having a little bit of regret.
FOMO?
Well, except I've already missed out, so it's not fear. I did just miss out. Yes, Ruben, there's a reason it's going to JSA. PSA and I have already disagreed on this, so we'll see what happens. But that's interesting that you had it on the same card.
They don't like Puckett, apparently.
I wonder if it has to do with Puckett or the Diamond Kings. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. Ruben,
well, it shouldn't have anything to do with the card. You're grading the auto.
Right. All I want is authentic on the card.
Yeah, the Diamond. Who's faking Diamond King cards?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So this is one that's definitely going to help a friend. Now, not every helping a friend has to be free. There will be a cost involved in this, but I have some friends that very much collect autographed Diamond Kings, and so I hope it finds a better home. I don't collect them. I appreciate them, but I don't collect them. And I wanted to find out I'm feeling all sorts of sentimental today. And who else has helped?
Listen, man. Listen, I could do this whole show by myself. I'm not going to, although I'm tempted. But let me just say this. I have been very blessed in having, in more ways than one, just in things I get to do. People have sent me stuff unsolicited, where they just asked for my address without even telling me. And I'm like, hey, you don't have to do anything. No, I want to do this. And then I get, especially a lot of Jackie Robinson cards, especially modern stuff, because I still collect even that stuff. When I didn't have, here's something that really hit me in the feels, as the kids say. I got my Jackie, the 48 leaf, a couple years ago, the Grail card. It's behind me. I'm not, that's their show. It's over my shoulder. But I talked about that card a lot, even before I got it. Like, hey, this is the card. I'm, someday maybe I'll get it. And I had people and kids, even kids that I knew, like Rex's from the sports card shop. His son made a 48 leaf Jackie by hand and signed it on the back, 1-1. Had a couple other people do things like that. And I still have those. They're in I have a showcase on my desk here, so it's locked. But, even after I did get the Jackie, the significance and, that sentiment behind those handmade cards was not lost on me, right? And, I'm not going to, but when I think I got 2 or 3 of those type of cards, and, I got choked, chokes you up, man. Like, people took the time out of their day to, get some colored pencils, measure things, and create this handmade card. And that's just cool. And I'll never forget that, man. And I've had other things. There's a bat behind me that was made after the first anniversary of the show by a listener who just asked for my address. He said, I'm sending you something. I love your show. Happy 1-year anniversary. And it's a wooden bat with the Sports Card Nation logo etched in it, and says 1 year Sports Card. That's cool. I don't, this bobblehead was bobblehead.
Somebody sent me something as simple as 60 strikeout raters just because I'm going for the run.
This bobblehead, which is actually better looking than the real Newman, was
Yeah, I was
sent
about to
was
say, that's a generous bobblehead.
someone, and that person asked not to be identified. He said, "I love the show. I want to do something for you." And it was weird. He goes, "The next thing I'm about," and this isn't an email. So John, the next thing I'm about to ask is going to be really creepy, but trust me. And he says, "Send me a headshot you like." And I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" I thought in my mind, I'm like, "Is he going to take the George Costanza photo from Seinfeld when he's like just in his underwear on the couch and just put my head on it, you know?" And he didn't tell me what he was doing. And then a box came in the mail with a note, and I'm like, "Holy crap," you know. And those things I got, you know, those I'm sure that was not cheap to do, especially custom. Like that's crazy to me.
It's very cool.
So, and then when my wife says, you know, I'm not attracted to you anymore, John, I say, "How about the bobble, though?"
Well, the bobble,
Yeah, and she says, "Yeah, that's not too bad."
the bobblehead is very svelte. Very skinny.
The benefit of
Well, I think they charge by the amount of material they use, so I think they saved a little bit of money by only doing half.
Hey, John's not skinny, but I have a budget here. Can you just give him the skinny bobble?
Yes, I'll take a start.
Yeah, and thanks to Orlando, he points out. So everyone, real quick, I'll make this quick. Any guest that comes on the show, Sports Card Nation, the first time gets a podcast guest card. I make those, and then I send the guest some with a self-addressed envelope, and I ask everyone to sign one and send it back, and it goes in to the podcast guest book here. So that's what Orlando, for those that read Orlando's, you know. And some, yeah, it's a great, even people in the chat room have sent me stuff. And guys, I don't care if it's 50 cents or $50 or whatever, right? It's not the amount, right? It's the fact. And this goes for everyone. If someone's ever sent you a random act of kindness, throw the dollar amount out the window, okay? And I'll pat myself on the back a little bit. I've sent out stuff too. So it's not a one-way, you know, thing, but it makes you feel good. I really enjoy sending stuff out, especially if I know someone's going to really appreciate that. I obviously try to send something that they will. So, you know, it's good for your soul. It's, you know, if you're a karma guy, I tend to be a karma guy. It's good for your karma, for what that's worth. And it's easy to do. It's not as hard as you think. But if the Postal Service keeps raising rates, it's going to get a little bit harder. But
Steven says, I sent John a Kenny Pickett rookie card, and it came back returned to sender.
No, and I got to, you know, I don't know. Oh, look, I haven't even put it away yet. This is, speaking of Ruben, this is from the National, McDonald's, I think 76, Terry Bradshaw, you know, and that, yep. You know, that's just cool stuff, man. Like
Mookie says we should have Garbage Pail Kids cards for card mentions, and he's come up with names for us. I'd be Dreidel Danny, and you'd be Jockstrap John.
And there, you hear the, I like it. I like that. Is there? I wonder if there's a site. You know how you have filters and like, is there a site that you can like sort of put in a real picture and it like produces a Garbage Pail Kid?
How the heck do I know?
I don't know. I'm gonna look into that.
I've never tried to be a Garbage Pail Kid before.
Well, we're gonna do like, I don't know how long we're gonna do. We're gonna try like we did the Mensch card for this year. We're gonna try to do a Mensch card every year. That would with a different theme. So that would be pretty.
Warren, you missed it. I showed your comment. I'll put it up again.
Yeah, don't make people mad, Danny.
No, especially this was so nice. Let's read it. I'm sorry, Warren. Truly enjoy seeing us. And what makes this fun every other Friday, along with these other card clowns in here. Yes, definitely a term of endearment.
And here's the thing. And again, I'm going to pat both of us on the back. I think the chat room guys, especially the ones we've met, right? What you see like here is what you get in person. Like I don't act any different when I go to school. I don't act like to work. I don't act. And when I met people at the National or any card show, this is there might be some shtick here, but the whole personification is not a shtick. And I'll just say this, I'll be as polite as I can. not every content creator is the same off the air as they are on, and I can attest to that, meeting some of them in person. So,
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
not. You can call me ugly,
That's an
you can
understatement.
call me fat, but you're not going to call me disingenuous. So,
That's an understatement.
yeah. So, and I'm not gonna fall under that category. So, and you don't either. And I think everyone we've met in the chat room has been funny and genuine and likable and themselves, and that's the beauty, right? Don't I gravitate towards people like that because that's how I try to be or how I am, right? Not even try. So Orlando's welcome anytime, and you might be seeing more of him on another show starting next month. So, but I think there's something to be said about that when you meet somebody in the hobby community in person, maybe for the first time, and that personality matches in person. The only thing maybe in person I'm a little more quiet or shy or reserved, just because believe it or not, I'm actually kind of a shy guy until I get to really know you, and then all bets are off. But and I just think it's not even a hobby thing. I think when people are like that, whatever you do, it's refreshing, right?
Absolutely. And the reason I just put this up is Warren's asking Mookie if he has the 73 World Series program. That's what I'm talking about. That's the community.
Well, think about the National, which, last, what are we, 4 weeks out from it?
3 weeks.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for correcting me. Week
I've been counting.
But think how many, when I was looking for the Seaver rookie, how many people like texted me, hey, booth, 1126, PSA 6, $1,600 or whatever, things like that, right? Looking out for me. And I did the same for people I knew were looking for certain things, right?
Absolutely.
That looking out for one another. No one has to do that. Like it's hard enough. Like the show's busy. You everything's a blur. You're trying to cover ground. You're talking to people, and before you know it, the day's over, right? So the fact that someone's willing to take some time out of their day to try to help you find a card, and that's happened numerous times. I try to help people on cards I know they're looking for. That's just cool, and you can't. You don't put a price on something like that, and that's the stuff. That's when we talk about the community, right? That's the good side of this. And it's not a dollar amount. If you get a rack, if you send a rack, you took the time out of your day to put that together and get it on its way to someone else because you knew they would appreciate it probably more than you do.
Sorry. This comment.
Maybe they did. Maybe they took like a Schwarber Chicago Cubs and just painted my clothes on it. And
if you're only listening to the audio, Steven says I would have just bought a Kyle Schwarber bobblehead and told Johnny.
or John Kruk.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's what my softball team. That's my nickname on my softball team. When I come up to bed, they're like, "Come on, Kruk, let's go." So
Ruben says, "Wait, you had good cell service at the National? That's why I walked away from PSA on a reholder, and luckily I ran into a guy from Nash Cards who took care of it." Well, there you go.
Yeah, no, I would get messages, probably 20, 30, 40 minutes after they were probably sent. I sent one. My son's a big Beatles kid, and I sent him a couple pictures of Beatles stuff that was at Heritage, and it never sent. He never got them. So yeah, the internet was not good there. By the way, Nash Cards, Chris Kelsey. A little quick story. He is from Fulton, New York. About 20 minutes. What are you laughing? Because you know the story?
No, because of course he's from New York.
Originally. Now he lives in Nashville, or he has 3 stores. But he's from Fulton, New York, and I played. This is double-digit years ago. I was in the Fulton softball league, and we played in it together. And in this league, Fulton's kind of a little country town. They actually put the box scores and recaps of the games of the softball league in the sports page of the Fulton Times. And I played against Chris Kelsey in the softball league, and I was on a really good team, truth be told. And so we won, and it had the box score, and I showed this to him when he came on the show. He got a kick out of it. Like it was a box score. It said, John Newman went 3 for 4, yada, yada, yada. For the losing side, Chris Kelsey went 2 for 4 and with a double and 2 ribbies and that sort of. So it was small world, right? And here we are years later. I'm doing a podcast, and he's got 3 stores in the hobby. So there you go. It all connects. It's the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever.
I think you're the Kevin Bacon of the hobby.
I'm more like the Kevin Ham.
Kevin Ham.
I don't know. I just made it up.
He's a nice guy.
I do like bacon. I do like bacon
as well. Ruben has come out with some blasphemy, responding to your loving son and his love for the Beatles. He has trounced that love by saying the Stones are way better than the Beatles.
Don't tell my son that. Those are fighting words.
I put Ruben in timeout. He will not be silenced.
I don't have a problem with the Rolling Stone. I like both bands. My son's like a big Beatles kid, like huge. I say kid, he's 24. So I don't, Kevin. Kevin Scrabble. Who's Kevin? Yeah, I'll take that too. And don't call me late for dinner, Ruben. That's why I skip lunch at the National and I make up for it at the dinner time in Cleveland.
Our food was an interesting situation. We just drove around some nights looking for anything open. I don't know if anybody noticed in Cleveland that everything closed at 9 or 10.
Yeah, that was different. Well, the outskirts. I mean, maybe in the city.
Yeah, just in our suburb. And the Beatles, the Stones are a great live band. Nothing against the Stones, but the Beatles are on another level.
Listen, they're both in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's another.
They are.
Shout out to Cleveland.
So wait, no comments on Beatles versus Stones?
It's like Jordan versus LeBron. I think there's one clear.
That would get some feedback.
I don't know.
Actually, the 3 autograph card, the triple auto of LeBron, Curry, and Durant.
Yeah.
Would you have any interest in buying a pack for a 1 in 500,000 chance for that?
No, not really. And that's weird to say because like when the Mega Ball or the Mega Millions gets like crazy money, I don't play it, but then I'll throw $5 at it.
Ruben, I'm just saying.
No, I'm not gonna do that because Backyard Breakers is gonna pull it.
You know what?
It's already in the bag. It's in the bag for them.
Yeah. Mookie is absolutely correct.
Yeah, man. And Ruben makes a great point. The Stones are like still touring. Like,
well, yeah. Mookie says that the Beatles were Koufax and the Stones are Phil Necro. So I'll take Koufax.
Yeah, that's not a bad analogy.
Nah, the Stones are better than Phil Necro, but
Phil Necro was sneaky good. Phil Necro was sneaky good. I'm not saying he's Koufax or Bob Gibson or even
more
Nolan
like Jamie
Ryan.
Moyer.
Huh?
I'll give him Nolan Ryan. The Stones are Nolan Ryan.
Phil Necro.
The Beatles.
He won 300 games.
Yeah, but he was a knuckleballer. The Stones are maybe the greatest pure live.
300 game. I don't care how many years you play. That's going to be a number that's harder now than it ever was for.
The Stones are better at music than Phil Necro was.
They're both pretty good.
You disagree with me?
It's closer than you making it out to be. I'm not saying that Phil Necro's the Rolling Stones in comparison to the Beatles, with the Beatles being Gibson or Koufax, but he's a pretty good pitcher. Sometimes I think we discount knuckleballers like as if like they're a lesser person. They just throw a different pitch.
Just a lesser pitcher.
They're throwing less miles per hour. That's all. They still got to get people out. So
Warren says we're so off course. I love another beer.
That's my beer's gone. Warren, bring me one. I need one too if you're going out.
We tell you every show that we know where we start. We never know where we finish.
By the way, for those who care, which is probably one person, that was a Southwick's Red Ale. And I got to say, first time I had it, and there's actually a little left. It's pretty good.
All right. So you want to move back onto cards off of the Beatles and the Stones?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to ask this question, and I know I'm going to get totally pooped on in the chat room. Anybody going to Fanatics Fest just out of curiosity? And I know our chat room. But I'm just curious if anybody's gone to Fanatics Fest.
How do you know they're not there already?
Are you at Fanatics Fest? Are you in your hotel room watching us from Fanatics Fest right now? I'm going to guess that's a no.
Listen,
I wonder if
I'm
Chris
not.
Harris is going.
Listen, it's in my hometown. I don't live there now. I'm in Central York, but I just have too much going on this weekend. You're going, obviously. That's where you're going to get.
There's also the East Coast National.
Put on your the East Coast. I'm doing a show tomorrow in Watertown, New York. My monthly show where I give everyone their bulk sub SGCs and take in the next month's submissions. I gotta be there. Someone tried to talk me out of going and going to New York City. I just can't. I can't do it. So
who would do that? You got somebody on your show?
Orlando. What? No, someone else did too. Else did too. I just can't. I can't do it. I thought about Sunday, but you're not going to be there Sunday, so I won't see you. So I kind of made my decision sort of for me. So Orlando said. That's what
Orlando. I will fess up. I'm going up for the day tomorrow. Out of curiosity, a little bit of business, but just want to see what it's about. I have no expectations one way or the other. Just curious on what it is. Don't know that I'm going to go to another one. Maybe I'll enjoy it. It's a whole new type of show. So I'm just curious. I'm not expecting my classic card show by any means. I'm not bringing any cards. I'm not expecting to buy anything, but you never know. So we'll see after that. But I do know, I mean, there are a bunch of people there. I mean, in the hobby. And we've heard that it's good vibes, whatever that means. But it seems to me like a celebrity fest. I haven't seen a lot on the card show side.
I would like to go. I will say this. It's definitely not a show I would probably go to every one. That's the National for me. And I don't think that's not going to replace the National. And we talked about this a little bit before we even went live. People like to compare things, right, that really are in the same category. We can compare the Ravens and the Steelers because they're trying for the same Lombardi.
No, they're not the same category. They're not the same category. The Ravens are up here and the Steelers are down here.
But they're trying for the same trophy, right? These are two different shows marketed in two different ways. So I don't think the comparisons are fair to either entity. Maybe that's a future Mensches show in itself. And you're gonna have more to say about that than me because you're actually gonna go and see it firsthand. I can only see it vicariously through others. And if I was going, I wouldn't hold it up against the National and vice versa. Because they're not meant to be. There's going to be multiple of this Fanatics type fest around the country. There's only one National, so they're different there. There's going to be more tables with cards. There's going to be more cards at the National. There's going to be more corporate that are hobby related only at the National. So these are two different things. And yes, there's similarities, but they're not exactly the same.
Ruben, I'm not sure they come fresh.
Dude, I got a ton of terrible towels. Like I could make
everyone is terrible. No argument.
So
no, you're right.
Bill Pulsifer, former Met.
Part of the big three, remember?
Yeah, Isringhausen, Pulsifer, and who am I missing?
The one who made it. Wasn't it what's his name? He ended up playing for the Orioles. It had the Playboy wife.
If you play for the Orioles, you got to name them. Like that's your team.
It was not. It was Wilson.
Yeah. Paul Wilson.
Paul Wilson's not who I was thinking of. I was wrong.
Yeah. Isringhausen, definitely not a Hall of Famer. He didn't have a bad little career. Like he's
nowhere near a Mets Hall of Famer.
He became a closer on the back half of his career. He became a pretty good closer.
With who?
The Cardinals, somebody else I'm forgetting. I don't know. Look, someone can look it up.
Thank you, Mookie. Chris Benson is who I was thinking of.
Or Ben McDonald.
Ben McDonald's a broadcaster now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Izzy was the closer.
Yeah, he was a starter when he first came up, though. And
well, they all had arm injuries, didn't they?
Yeah, probably.
In fact, we were talking about, somebody got me and this was Jason, a Mike Boddicker rookie card. He's a Red Sox fan. I'm an Oriole fan, and Boddicker got traded from the Orioles to the Red Sox, so we share that player. And talking about gifts that meant a lot. That was a nice connection between the two cities, and he gave that to me at the content creators dinner at
Yeah, man, that's
and that was just
cool
very
stuff.
cool.
Cool stuff, man. I got this at that same dinner. It's a
Explain that.
challenge. It's a challenge coin. Gentleman named AJ came up to me. I didn't know him. I could see. I think I was talking to Ruben, or it might have been someone else, and I could see he was like waiting, like to talk to me. Like you just sense it. And so I kind of wrapped up my conversation, and whoever I saw, and I said, "Hey, I'll get back with you." And he approached me and he extended his hand. He said, "Hey, my name's AJ. You don't know me, but I love your show, and me and my son listen all the time. I love the content. I appreciate, John, that you don't swear, that I can watch the show or listen to the show and not worry about my son hearing a bad word." And I said, "No, it's done on purpose." And very, very appreciative and thankful. And he goes, "I'm a federal agent in Kentucky, and we only get so many of these challenge coins, and I want to give you one. And this thing's heavy, and it's got like it might be hard. It's got like a Kentucky Derby. You can see the ATF badge there, and on the back, it's hard to see. It says 2024. It's got the ATF logo. It's obviously in a horseshoe shape for Kentucky and the Run for the Roses. And this thing is heavy, and it sits on my desk, and I use it as a paperwork and keep my notes and cards and stuff underneath it. And just really touched by that someone brought that, hoping to like give it to me, and did, and said just such nice things, man. And just really cool. And I remember texting my wife that night, like telling her the story and send her the picture. She's like, "That's cool." So stuff like that, man.
Very cool story.
It's not a story; it's real.
Well, Mookie says it's nice to talk to a federal agent once without handcuffs on.
It was different. It was different, and I appreciated walking out on my own recognizance. And I got in your car, and not a 4-door sedan with blacked out windows.
Steven talking about going
to
the Fest.
But Danny knows this story. Danny knows. I'm not going to tell it today, but I did have to talk to the FBI one.
Yes, Barry.
It's not.
Yes, Beatles definitely.
How about Beastie Boys? Beastie Boys versus Beatles.
Beatles, but it's apples and oranges. You're talking. It's not anything. I will say I thought the Beastie Boys were underrepresented at the hall.
They had some stuff though. They had some cool items there. I won't being a Beastie Boys. I guess I'd say super fan. I wasn't that disappointed. I took some photos of some stuff.
Yeah, no, it was definitely cool.
There you go.
Yep.
Now I hear it in my head. I'm definitely going to play some Beastie Boys on the way to my show tomorrow morning.
I'm so old. This is a true statement. The record is on my record player downstairs of the Beastie Boys' greatest hits.
Oh, the greatest hits? This one?
Yep. You know it.
Well, this is licensed now. It's the 30th anniversary. This was a Christmas gift a few years back from my son.
I don't have the 30th anniversary. That's the expensive one. Warren keeps dropping us. Warren is actually still at the National in Cleveland. He never got out.
Well, he is in Cleveland. We got that partly right.
Mike Petty says, just listen to Brothers Johnson, Strawberry Letter 23, and Stomp on DEFCON 10. Neighbors hate me. Ruben, after John got a Seaver, the state of New York issued him his license to ill again.
Yeah, now I got to decide what's the next card. Like, and I really haven't really bought it. I haven't really bought anything since the National. So what's the next card I go after? It's going to be a little bit cheaper, obviously, or a lot cheaper, but I don't know.
Are there?
I have a long list. It's not like I can't.
I mean, after Togo, I'm worried you're going to watch Bambi and have to buy the Walt Disney.
There's a limit. There's a method to my madness, sort of.
Are you going to watch a Travis Scott video and have to get a box of Travis Scott?
No. You can take that to the bank. Not going to happen.
Here we go. Great conversation. Next card is a Maz rookie.
A Maz, as in Mazeroski or Lee Mazzilli Maz?
Oh, I was assuming it was Mazeroski.
Yeah. It could go a couple different ways.
Yeah.
I have a Bradshaw rookie. I have a Bradshaw. It's behind me as well. It's a 6.
And Joe Namath was just overrated. So,
I'm not like, I like Terry Bradshaw, obviously being a Steeler fan since that time period. But I'm not one of those Steeler fans that like thinks Terry Bradshaw is like the greatest quarterback. Like he's a very good quarterback. He's in Canton, but I think he's slightly overrated. He got 4 rings. He's not overrated in that department, but I think he threw slightly more touchdowns than picks for his career. So
there we go. Ruben says, Warren, I have a Maz in a PSA 7. Let's see if we can work a deal. Ruben, are you willing to part with that Maz?
Yeah, he might have been a better actor than a quarterback. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, who's more overrated, him or Namath?
Oh, there's the stat right on the button, man. 212 and 212.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's crazy when you think about that.
Kenny Pickens was better than Terry Bradshaw. Ruben says, nope, he's not selling the gas. Well, then you're just teasing. That's
we tried. We tried, Warren.
Yeah.
We tried.
That's a good question. Who's an underrated I think Reggie is still underrated, but I've been saying that for a year or two.
There was a time period, though, in the hobby. Here's a crazy thing with Reggie. Tell me if people in the chat room and you, Danny, tell me. There was a point in the hobby where he actually was overrated. And now I think today he's underrated. So he's wore both of those hats in the hobby at different times. Anyone else see that?
I mean,
I
I definitely think he's been undervalued, underrated for a while. Reggie agrees that Reggie is underrated.
Reggie would agree.
Is Ricky Henderson underrated?
Yeah, he definitely is. Not in Ricky's mind. Not in Ricky's mind. Did you see him on the eBay stage at the National? I thought that was pretty cool. I stayed and watched a little bit of that.
Ruben says he wants a Reggie in a 6 or 7.
I don't have. So here's, this will tell you something about weird. Like, I tell the story that one of the reasons I'm in the hobby is that first 79 Topps pack, I pulled a Reggie. I have that set, not the exact 79 Topps card, but I have that card in a PSA 8 over there to remind me of like how I got my start or how the hobby started for me, right? But I don't have a Reggie rookie. I've had it before. I've owned it at multiple times, but at the moment, I do not own a Reggie rookie, right?
Talking about Ricky Henderson, not Reggie, talking about Ricky Henderson, I think he is goodish.
He is. When we did that show about greatest living ball player, his name came up plenty.
Well, your all-time leader in walks and runs?
I do kind of need one, Mike. I do. Like, I want one, but I'm not fiending over it yet. But I mean, it's spoken of it's an actually very affordable card. It's not like it's, hard to get, or it's not cheap, but it's not expensive either unless you're getting a really high grade.
Well, here, let's check the auction for the Ricky Henderson rookie and see what it's
I have one behind me. There's one behind. I have one of those behind me.
Well, I'm going to check the price on the auction. With 1 day remaining, the PSA 8 is at $151.
Yeah. My favorite Ricky story, and I'm gonna really screw this story up. It's the bus, and he gets on the bus, and I think he sits in the front or something like that, and someone says, "Hey, Ricky, I think he was with the Padres, and hey, Ricky, the guys with tenure, TENURE, get to sit in the back," and he's like, "10-year? I got 20-year."
Yeah. There's lots of Ricky stories.
That's my personal favorite. That's my.
Steven said he's looking to get a Nolan Ryan rookie card this year. Never had one.
I've had it. I don't own one today. It's on my list, but it's not right up there. And that, speaking of that, like this, the Seaver should be way valued higher than that Nolan Ryan. Some
So
people
to
are gonna
me,
like
Tom
throw
Seaver.
darts at me.
No, I'm agreeing with you. Tom Seaver was a much better pitcher than Nolan Ryan.
I'm glad it wasn't, because I could buy one, but I've always thought that even before I bought one, that it should be much higher than the Ryan is. It's a high number. I think Seaver's a better pitcher. Just doesn't have as many no hitters as Nolan Ryan does.
Well, Nolan Ryan was tremendous for a long period of time, but if you look at where he finished in Cy Young, he was not often thought about as one of the top pitchers in his league in most years. And if you look where Seaver would have finished, Seaver dominated.
Yeah.
And Orlando says Seaver is a much tougher card and better pitcher.
Yeah, Orlando's waving the pennant with me.
Yep.
So we can make a case for, even though it is not a cheap card, Seaver rookie should probably even be more money potentially.
I assume he's talking about. Warren, which card are you talking about here? You picked up 6 for $40.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's the Henderson rookie is what he's talking about. And Mike Petty's talking about the Henderson rookie. They're hard to find with nice eye appeal. 99% are off center. That's
what's mine? I have a 7.
Yeah, this 7 at the auction is not bad, but there's no way it's at 150.
I have a couple more in my show inventory. I have another 7 in my show inventory and a 6. That's different in the boxes going to. I think if I might have sold one, there might be one left.
Mookie says Nolan finished with a flourish in the big hobby boom. 5,000 strikeouts and no-nos during the cardboard explosion.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah,
excellent point.
And listen, Nolan Ryan's a Hall of Fame pitcher. He's a great pitcher. I'm not pooping on that. Okay,
He was better than Phil Necro.
Huh?
He was better than Phil Necro.
Yeah, I'm not arguing. We're talking Seaver and Ryan, not Necro and Ryan. But I think I think some people view him better than other pitchers that he's actually not better. I think that's what happens.
Yes.
And listen, no hitters are cool. They're not common. We fall in love with him as we should. And he threw a lot of them, But listen, there's been some bad pitchers who've thrown a no-hitter. Now, what does Ryan have 7 of them? You don't throw 7 out of them without being skilled. But you can throw 1 and just be on for a night.
Yeah, and he threw like 1 a decade. So, all right, my friend, this was cathartic for me. Thank you to the chat room. Thank you to you.
Man. I even listen. And I'm gonna give some shine here to my good friend Danny. Knowing what's going on in his world and in his life, I said, Danny, you sure you want to do this show? Like, you ain't gonna hurt my feelings. You gotta, we take a night off or we don't do the show, period, and he said, nope, I need it and we're going to do it. And so here we are. And, that just tells you, and I missed the show going to Savannah Bananas baseball game. Now I really feel extra bad about that.
That's the only reason I did it tonight. I just wanted to.
That's funny.
Glad it's sad it's ending, if not forever, just for 2 weeks. Thank you, Orlando. Seriously, guys. This show was about community and the hobby. It was about friendships. It was about working with each other to reach common goals. And for a pick me up tonight, this was absolutely fantastic. I had a blast, and if you know anybody who will be at Fanatics Fest tomorrow, I will be there just for the day.
And I won't be. And the nice thing about hobby community, there's no age limit. You could be 60 and help someone who's 20 out. You could be 20 and help someone that's 60 out. It doesn't matter, right? It's not a senior citizens home. Although we'd probably both get in, it's not about that. So that's the beauty of it. There's no age restriction, right? We're all in the same boat, and we can, the more we do and help others and vice versa, the experience is just better. We have more fun, right? And that's, I don't know about you. I'm trying to have as much fun as I can.
This was definitely more fun than anything else I've been doing, and I am looking forward to it. To the chat room.
Also, I want to announce, if you're going to be in the Metropolis of Watertown, New York, northern New York tomorrow, about an hour north of Syracuse. Come and say hi to me. I won't be hard to find. It's a 50-table show.
Right. And Mike, I wanted to give you a quick welcome before we leave. Great show. Appreciate it. First time you're able to join
thank
live.
you. For sure.
Yep. We're definitely a better live band than studio band. So we're glad you caught the live version.
Yeah, I think that I'll agree with that.
Yeah. And maybe that's the difference between the Stones and the Beatles as well. And we'll just leave that at that. All right.
Stay tuned in next episode when we talk about Jordan and LeBron.
Right. Say goodnight, John.
Good night, Jeff.